He told me last night, don't get emotional. And I said, I can't promise you that. So I think we're ready to go ahead and start. I asked Bishop a few weeks ago if I could share a little bit. He was like, "Yeah, sure you can. Are you ready?" And I say, "Absolutely." So just to give a little background, uh, some of you may know that a few weeks ago, March 26th to be exact, I experienced a pre-stroke, and so that put a lot of things into perspective. I thought I had some things in perspective, but that experience put a lot into perspective. And so this evening, I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to speak on that today. It's no reason to be nervous. It's no reason to be scared, and it's no reason for me to feel reluctant or judged because this is where I am most welcome, and this is the place where it's home. So,
Well, before you go too far into that, wife, let me make sure we get our housekeeping taken care of. Like I mentioned, we are here with Agape Christian Fellowship Church. Thank you for those that are here, our members that are here. Thank you for our partners and everyone who are supporting our efforts on a day-to-day basis. Please take a moment to like and share on Facebook and YouTube on your devices. Create a watch party, do all of that good stuff because ultimately our circle of influence can help grow the words that we're able to connect with our members, and that's ultimately God's goal for our lives, to evangelize and show the greatness that He provides in our life. Our website is acfchurch.org, acfchurch.org. Thank you again to our members, partners, for your continued support. We do have a friendly reminder as we continue to support our ministry. Don't forget to include our very important project that Bishop White has asked us to give towards for our sanctuary. Only $35 per week over and above our regular tithes and offerings beginning the first Sunday in January. If you're paying online, select the building fund category. I can speak to this personally. We've seen the changes that have happened here in the church. It's really great to see Bishop come in, the First Lady come in, and make assessments. I think that's the first thing those first couple of years was assessing, everything that we had, the assets that we had in the sense of people and resources. And now we're seeing how we can galvanize our funds together and create an atmosphere that is most welcoming to our community members and the most important honors God and His will for our lives and the way that we can use this building as a resource to the community. Also, our two scholarship funds, the Dorothy W. Washington Legacy Scholarship Fund for high school and GED graduates, and the Designing Women Revive the Dream Scholarship Fund for women age 25 and older who have gone back to school to further or complete their education. Please take a moment to consider giving to these two more than worthy scholarship funds and know that they're doing great work in the lives of the people that they support. So thank you. We'll give you the rest of our upcoming events and announcements at the end of our time together.
all right. So thank you, Boo. So this evening we are going to kind of take a dive into how we navigate through different emotions and how we are preventing certain situations and circumstances not take us to the left or to the right, but we want to keep going straight and we want to keep leaning on the Lord. So uh, it's two stories or two individuals that really resonated with me. And one, I'm going to talk about Elijah. I love the name, I love the story. It was something that story just resonated with me. And I'll also talk about David a little bit. It really resonated with me. Um, Many of you already know the story, but for people that are tuning in and may not know, I can just give a like a summary. So Elijah was a powerful prophet of God. He experienced despair and fear even after achieving these really great achievements and triumphs. I look back onto these past few years and I say, oh my, I have, I feel hit a lot of goals. I've gotten a couple of degrees. I'm gonna hit my third one in a year. I have my beautiful girls. My business is going. I have secured a leadership position with my job. So I think that those are top tier, right? But even with those triumphs, I still will feel, or I still felt fear a little bit. It's just this overwhelming fear, uneasiness, and um, just like Elijah, I'm like, I don't know if I could do this. I'm fearful. I'm scared. The enemy comes, Jezebel comes, and she's like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna kill you. And I'm like, all these different life stressors, and I'm feeling like, oh my goodness, if it feels like it's gonna kill me, but I have someone that I can always lean on, and that's the Lord. So if you have your Bible, we are going to turn to 1 Kings 5 and 7. So in verse 5, it says, then he lay down and slept under the broom tree. But as he was sleeping, an angel touched him and told him, get up and eat. He looked around, and there beside his head was some bread, baked on hot stones, and a jar of water. So he ate and drank, and he lay down again. For me, sometimes all I need is to listen. And God is telling me, those angels that he have are telling me, just rest. Do this, get up, eat, rest. I feel like my experience a couple of weeks ago was something like that. Like, hey, I'm going to give you this experience because I need you to rest. I need you to listen to me. You hadn't been listening to me. I'm going to give you this experience to listen and to rest. And when that angel told that to Elijah, she did it twice. I say she, but twice. So he did it again. And then from there on, he was able to continue. Now, when he felt that he didn't want to go on, he said, man, I want to die. I'm afraid. I'm scared. God didn't condemn him. He didn't punish him. He didn't scold him. He gave him the vision when it was the perfect time. So he didn't give him what Elijah wanted at that moment. He gave him that vision when God felt that it was his time. And when it was his time, he was able to continue onto that mountain. Um, as I was experiencing, and I still experience these things sometimes, um, it's kind of hard for me to see it from my husband's point of view because he encourages me and he's like, okay, just remember that you got to have faith just a little bit. You got to believe, only believe. So even with the the feeling of fear, the feeling of despair, I have to keep remembering you got to have faith and you got to only believe. Let me take a pause and let Kevin kind of share from his point of view.
Sure, thank you. So going along with that and what she's saying, I don't know if I'm sure Bishop and First Lady probably remember. It was really a blessing to see y'all come in there and visit us when Robin was there at the hospital. And the first thing I told you was, we'll be at church on Sunday. I believe that, right? There was unwavering belief that we were just there temporarily. To know the strength that God has given this woman, and then to know that the relationship we have with God and how He can support us, there was no doubt in my mind. It definitely was one of those opportunities to get your attention and then refocus on what is most important and how you spend your time with one another, along with Him. So going back to our guiding uh, our guiding, our Mark 5 and 36, our guiding uh, principles that we're leading this year with, right? So I'm a person that's pretty simple when I look at things, and you say only believe, right? So only is very specific. Um, it gives you clear direction. It's not anything else. It's specifically this, right? So the definition that I found was for only was and no one or nothing more besides, solely or exclusively. So only. So right, that narrows whatever is next, right? So whatever only is telling me to do, only believe, right? So that's the only thing I need to do. Believe is to accept something as truth, a feeling of surety, feeling sure of the truth, right? So that's basically telling me, without question, with a narrow focus, believe. And so when you have that instruction, and I talked about her getting emotional, and it's me, um, it's clear. It's clear. It's just I had to look at the whole chapter, Mark chapter 5, to really get the full context, right? So the first story in verse 1 through 20 is talking about the man in the legions, right, with the impure spirits. So in my mind, okay, so the man has the impure spirits. Immediately he sees Jesus and he falls to his knees. So it's like he already recognizes you see somebody greater than you, 100%. Even though I'm an impure spirit, I still have to bow to God. I'm not greater than God. So that was insight. That was insight. The way that that's worded, it says that he fell to his knees immediately. Huh. So again, that man, that spirit, that's just a negative experience, something that you're going through in life. It can bow to God if you allow it to bow to God. And if you only believe. If you believe, it will bow to God. So that's in my mind what could reinforce believing and stand by her side and understand it and have a conviction in saying that when our spiritual leaders are there with us, right? We're miracles. God is a miracle maker. You talk about I talk about the first miracle was us actually getting here, right? The for us to get to that egg to even be here as a person in the flesh. Me personally, I was born, I was conceived the very last time my mother and father were together. They were divorced, they were separated in the midst of divorce. The very last time, right? So it's a miracle. So when she's going through something, only believe is just remember. Remember the truth. Remember what you've already come through. Have a good memory. So I just wanted to interject that piece. You can continue on.
So so when I think about just the experiences that we all go through, because we all go through a, a range of different emotions, situations, circumstances, um, just all of the feels. How do we take those feelings and those emotions, and what do we do with it? How do we navigate through it? How do we take those moments of, like, for myself, fear? I was a little nervous. I was a little fearful, like, oh man, I'm in the hospital. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. What's going to happen to the girls? What's going to happen to Kevin? What's going to happen with work of all things? That's just like the least of things to worry about. But in these moments of fear and these moments of feeling uneasy and anxiety, these are perfect opportunities for us to lean on God and to trust and give that faith that He has a plan for us. Things don't just happen by coincidence, things just don't happen by chance. And just to have it in your heart to lean on Him, every situation, every circumstance is an opportunity for us to demonstrate our faith and how we can lean on Him and lean on the ones that He have put in our lives, our village. Elijah's experience demonstrates that even in the midst of darkness, uneasiness, anxiety, uncertainty, God provides comfort knowing our needs. And at that time, I needed to slow down. I needed to get perspective because it was all over the place. My perspective was all over the place. And just to rest. And when I say rest, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, reset yourself, rest, get that perspective back. I want to share just a little bit more about how I got here. I shared that I asked Bishop if I could, come today and speak a little bit, but I want to share a little bit more. And this is me coming just as a regular old person. I know I'm in home. I know this is where I belong, and so I want to speak um, freely because I know I'm not judged. Um, it over the past, I would say, couple of years, there would be times where I would come into home, and I'm going to call this home. I would come into home, and each and every time I would come, I would feel so good. I would feel so good. But then there will be times where you wouldn't see me for a long period of time. I allowed, and I'm being very transparent, I'm being very vulnerable. I allowed the enemy, and I'm going to say anxiety, and I'm going to say OCD. I let those things step into my presence and make me believe that I didn't belong. And we know that's not true. We know that's not true. And that was another layer of that fear. Like, oh man, I haven't been in a few weeks. Kevin would say, I'm going. I would love for you to join me. I'm going to meet you where you are. He didn't say, get up. It's time for you to come. He allowed me. He allowed me to work it out. And I'm working it out. And I appreciate that. But I allowed that fear. I allowed that enemy to make me believe that I didn't belong. I would say to myself, which I know it wasn't to myself, but the enemy would say, you haven't been in a couple of weeks. Everybody's going to look at you crazy, like, she's just coming all randomly. Things like that will prevent me from coming. But I know that no matter what, I'm always welcome. I'm always welcome home. You know how you go, you go when you're a teenager, you go and you do your thing and things might happen and you got to come home. I come home and I feel good. I know that I'm welcome. I know that I'm not judged. And I hope that that resonates with someone tonight that's listening in, that you don't have to have that fear. And don't allow that fear or don't allow those outside noises make you believe that you are not worthy to be where you belong. God knows me better than I know myself. And each and every time that I would feel that I didn't belong or I shouldn't come or I should not lean on Him, I know that disappoints Him. But just keeping in that mindset of only believing that when nothing else feels right and when nothing else feels clear, that He is the one that I can lean on. I need to continue to only believe that when it's dark, when it's crazy, when it feels so overwhelming, if nothing else, I can always lean on Him and I can always come home. This is where I belong. I let Satan have me think and believe that because I hadn't been home in a while, because I hadn't been truly leaning on God, that I truly was kind of wavering on only believing that I wasn't worthy. And I want all of you and all of our friends and loved ones out there to remember, only believe, just only believe and keep believing. And when those outside noises try, I'm not going to say they're going to succeed, but when they try to put out that noise that you can't believe and you can't lean on, or when you cannot come home, just know you're always welcome home, and this is home. So um, I know it was kind of hard for my husband to see me kind of wallow in that uncertainty. And I hate to put my husband and even my girls and my family and my close village in that kind of shaky space. But they believe that I will come around, and I'm around. I'm back home. So even in yourself, lean on that faith, but as that support system, as that loved one, keep believing and keep leaning on that faith for your loved one, because they will come around, and keep encouraging them to come home. Don't force it. Keep praying for them, because they will come back around. And I always like to give Kevin the opportunity to kind of share from his perspective, because it's hard sometimes. That's a whole nother different topic. You know, the marriage thing, that's a whole nother different topic, y'all. But I appreciate that partnership.
So yeah, so speaking to the prayers, many prayers, many prayers. Um, that was something that really, especially at the end of last year, was probably the thing that I prayed about the most at the end of last year, and wanting that to be a New Year's resolution, a New Year's blessing, because I wanted my family whole in the church. I completely understand my responsibility as the head of the house, as the man in that way. And so I do have a feeling of a responsibility to my family's spirituality, and how we can ensure that we connect to the house of God, honestly, to you all as what I would consider experts, spiritual experts, and the people that guide us and help us make the best decisions that we can make based on your experience, your education, everything that you've gone through, just learning from you, and you guys loving on us. We got our daughters, Carson and Bethany, baptized at the end of last year. That was, again, another step in that direction. Us having those conversations for many years about christenings and baptism and when is it the right time, and knowing that this church body was where we wanted them to be baptized. Ultimately, that was the answer to a blessing. That was another miracle, right? So again, when we see storm, when we go through storm, it's really just a matter of looking back and not having such a foggy memory, because God has gotten you to this point. In so many different ways, God has gotten you to this point, right? So it's continuing with Mark. So now we're at verse 21 to 34, where he's talking about the woman who bled for 12 years, right? So the way I read it, the way I saw it, it spoke to, and I look at words like certain words that you might not look at as important, but it kind of stands out to me. And I wrote this and said she'd been treated and suffered and had gotten worse and had used all of her means. And so I underlined the word "her" in the text, because that spoke to me in the sense of, I'm sure she was involving God to a degree, but probably not to the degree that was necessary for her to get her healing, because once she touched Jesus' hem, she was healed. So she wasn't lacking faith or belief. I think that she was just using other means that she might have felt more confident in than just taking it directly to Jesus. When you had an opportunity and Jesus is there, it's an affirmation, it's confirmation to say, wow, why would he pick my little town to be here for me to have this opportunity after these 12 years of my suffering, where all it took was for me to have this belief that I'm carrying, and for me to touch the hem of his garment for me to be healed. That's something she only believed. In that moment, she only believed. The only thing that was important to her was her healing. And then she had belief that she could be healed. And so that's why she was. So it definitely speaks to another example, right? Another example that God gave us. And right, so we talk about these miracles and having these candid and transparent moments. Robin and I struggled to have a child at different points in our relationship. I was 32 years old when Carson was when we were officially. And so in my mind, I didn't even think I was going to have kids. I'm in my 30s. My mom didn't have me till she was 29. I'm like, dang, I'm 3 years older than her. And all I remember her telling me was like, I felt old at 29 having you as a woman, you know. So it's just like, I'm 32. But I was, at that point, I also was comfortable if my role was going to be a mentor and a steward of relationships to the young people in the community, because God had given me so many opportunities to do that, and I had done that, and I felt so fulfilled from that. But he said, I got something better for you. And not only one, you might have not been busy in your 20s, but your 30s is about to get real. And it was real. It's been real. And my whole 30s, like, Lord, okay, wow, this is awesome. This is amazing. And God continues to bless us, and all of our daughters are a blessing to us. And ultimately, they came to us at the right time, not only in our relationship, but our relationship to God and our level of understanding the role of a parent, all of that. The clarity is undeniable once you come through it. It's just so foggy once you're in it. So that's where the belief has to stay. The belief has to be, I have to be rooted in understanding the two constants in my life are going to be turmoil and God. There's going to be ups and downs throughout my life. It's going to be good times. That's the constant, right? So, like you said, Bishop, we either going into a storm, we're in a storm, or we're coming out of storm, right? So it's clear. So the reinforcement that we have to have, the way that we're standing in this building is sitting on a very strong foundation, is our belief system at all times, because it will be tested. What we say, we're gonna have to walk that talk. And God's going to give us plenty of opportunities to walk that talk. So yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, Lord. Them four, whew, four girls. And that's a good point because just being in different roles, in the role of being a mother, I feel so blessed to be a mother. I feel so blessed to be a soulmate. I feel blessed to be here with y'all in home. But just being a human in life, there's so many different just things in the world that just make you, sometimes make you happy, you might get sad, you just have all these different emotions. And I'm a writer. I like to jot things down. I'm sometimes kind of emotional, sometimes I'm kind of stoic, and that really reminds me of Psalms and David. He was a very, or at least how I take it, he was very emotional, a very emotional person. And in his journey, we catch these glimpses of his emotional state. I think we could maybe even say that he maybe had some mental health issues, and this is May 1st, so it's like maternal mental health. But that's okay, because God, he gonna love us anyway. It doesn't matter what we got going on, he gonna love us anyway. And that's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter what you're going through, it doesn't matter what you have done, he gonna love us anyway. In Psalm 6:6, it says, I'm worn out from my groaning. David, he expresses that. All night long I flood my bed with weeping, drench my couch with tears. Sometimes you might feel so overwhelmed. Sometimes I feel so overwhelmed. I want to cry, but I can't even cry. But I could just feel that I want to. That just being in that state of, oh, I feel so overwhelmed. And then a part of me says, well, there's other things going on in the world. You shouldn't even feel overwhelmed. Like, how dare you? And then, you retreat back and you say, well, I'm not going to give that to God because that's something minute compared to the other things in the world. But no, remember, he wants us to give it all to him, no matter how big or no matter how minute it is. A common pattern emerges from Psalms, and an initial expression of raw emotion. The raw emotion of it is just, it's so beautiful because you get it all and you can relate to it. At least I know I can. Um, Even when David, he is talking about all the despair he's in, how he feels in turmoil, and he cries, and it feels even kind of like a complaint almost, and you kind of see yourself in that. You're just like, oh, I hate this traffic. People just make me so mad, and you just, but then at the end, you got to say, but Lord, I thank you for even letting me be here to experience that. This world is crazy. Everybody makes me want to just kind of like knock them upside the head. But I thank you for letting me be here to even experience this. Tomorrow is a new day. And so when I feel like I'm just in a whirlwind, I have to stop and say, Lord, I still thank you. These kids, they are driving me crazy, Lord. These kids you gave me, they driving me crazy. Oh my goodness. But Lord, I thank you because they told me that I wouldn't have them. So I thank you. Um, in Psalms 13, it illustrates these these emotions, that up and down, and then just coming in that perspective. It says, "How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle?" In verses, that's in verses 1 through 2. After pouring out these emotions and making requests to God comes the lines, "But I trust in your unfailing love. No matter what, I know if everything else, if everyone else fails me, I know that you're not. I know you will never fail me. My heart rejoices. I will sing the Lord's praise." So even in the midst of chaos, I read the news every morning, and I get a pit in my stomach, like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe what I'm reading. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. But even still, I still have to thank the Lord because I know that He's not going to fail us. I know that He still loves me, and I still know that He loves the people that are around me. I know that He loves the people that I'm reading about. So I put that in perspective. Um, with David's mental state, I shared earlier that I wanted to share those two stories of Elijah and David because I see so much of myself in some of a lot of my characteristics in those. I'm going to call them characters, but into those people. And with David, I I understand his up and down mental state. Um, just recently, over these past few months, I was diagnosed with severe anxiety and OCD, and it just makes you oh, just really anxious, and you're kind of like, standoffish. People wouldn't even know that I have severe social anxiety. Like, I can get out and talk, and like I'm sitting here, the enemy almost talks me out of coming tonight, but I said, no, 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 because I'm going home. I'm coming home to talk. I almost, the enemy, the outside noise, the traffic out there almost made me say, it's not meant for you to go. But I said, no, 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 I'm going home. I'm coming home to talk. I'm coming home to people that loves me no matter what. I'm coming home to talk to people and to share and be vulnerable with people that love me no matter what. They hadn't seen me in a week or two, but they're going to welcome me home anyway. So I understand that up and down, like how David would be up and down, but I cry out loud that I thank you, Lord, eternally. Even when the outside noise is trying to get me to go to the left when I need to go to the right, I'm only believing and I'm leaning on that faith that He is going to give me what I need. He's going to love me. The love will never fail. And I'm here and I'm home. I know Kevin is a motor mouth more than me, and I'm a motor mouth. We can talk, y'all. We can really really talk. But I wanted to uh, put this scripture out to you all and to the ones who are tuning in with us. The scripture of Ephesians 4:27. It says, "No place to the enemy. Give no place to the enemy." And when I say the enemy, that could be a person, that could be a situation, a circumstance, that noise, the inopportune. Give no place for it. I promised myself, especially after my time in the hospital, I said, I'm not going to give any place of home to things that are going to make me worry, things that are going to have me stressed out, that's going to have me fearful. It has no place. Those things have no place. So I'm going to keep Ephesians 4:27 right here in my heart and my mind. It has no place. The noise, the enemy, none of that. It has no place here because I know that God has me up, down, all around, inside out. This means that give no place to guilt. I was feeling so guilty. I was feeling so much shame for allowing myself to retreat as my husband and my girls, they would come home and they would come and rejoice, and I would be wallowing because I had allowed that noise. I allowed the enemy to make me believe that I couldn't come. So from now on, it has no place. It has no place. I'm not gonna worry. I'm not gonna worry if my family here is gonna say, "You haven't been here for a long while. Like, what are you doing here?" I have never experienced that here at home. But now I know that it has no place. I always feel so good. I always feel so warm and welcome. And I just know that it has no place. It never would have a place here in my heart. And I want others that are watching and tuning in. I hope that um, this hits your heart, or if you are kind of straddling or feeling kind of similar to how I'm feeling, go home. Lean onto God. Let that noise be dismissed. It has no place. It has no place. The worry, the guilt. Don't be guilty. Don't feel guilty about not coming home. It's okay. That's in the past. God is gonna love you anyway. He gonna love you anyway. Um, the Give no place to bitterness. Throw the bitterness away, the guilt away, the worry away. It has no place. It can't come in automatically, and it cannot take over you. The only way that those things can take over you is if you allow it, and don't allow it. Just simply don't allow it. When you feel that anxiety coming over, dismiss it. When you feel that guilt coming over, dismiss it. Just remember, it has no place. God has that unfailing love, and God has given that type of love to us. We may feel incapable, but we have that potential to give that same type of love. We have that potential to not judge and to not give that guilt and to not put that stress and to put that worry. So just dismiss it. And I'm speaking just vulnerably. I'm just speaking as Robin to my family. Um, and control what you think. Sometimes I might be cussing somebody out in my head, and I shouldn't do that. I'm working on it. I always say, the Lord, He working on me. But control what you think. Control what you think. Control what you think. Be, what does it say? Be slow to speak and more open and quick to listen. That'll help with just kind of controlling how we allow those outside noises to come in. So I'm allowing my husband, because I said I done got comfortable, y'all. I might just,
You good? I'm
I
gonna
might,
bring it home right
yeah.
here. So we we I don't know if y'all have noticed, we kind of doing a little parallel thing. She's talking about the experiences and giving us some examples through Scripture. My anchor Scripture was the fifth chapter of Mark. I just read the whole chapter because for us to take our guiding principle for the year from there, I needed full context into everything that was going on at that point to understand. So the last example he gives is about the daughter of the synagogue leader being awakened from the dead. Right? So it's talked about in verse 42. It says, "At this they were completely astonished." Right? Completely astonished. So that speaks to, when I heard those two words, completely astonished, I automatically thought about one of my mom's favorite scriptures was to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, right? So it was kind of like, okay, so now let me go look at that because that was a trigger for me, right? So we talk about that word trust. We come back to that word trust. We talked about that in the beginning in the sense of trust is where one of the anchors of faith is a belief in the experiences. And if I have these experiences consistently with my wife, then I can trust that. She comes at 10 o'clock every day, and I'm going to trust that she's going to be there at 10 o'clock the next day. That's where I can have faith in that, right? So that's a way that we can show that faith through experiences. Trust in the Lord with all, the word being all. Again, a very clear directive. With all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. So those three examples that God gave in Mark chapter 5, those was all strange examples of how he was able to be there for people at times in their lives when they needed it. And miracles were done. In all your ways, in all, again, there's all, your ways. So that's what you do. Submit to him, and he will make your path straight. So at the beginning of this, I titled it. I was like, what's the theme of this? And I wrote the director, the directive, and the direction, right? So to me, that could be God is the director. The directive is your purpose, what God tells you to do in your life. And then the direction is the journey that we go on, how we get to where we're trying to get to. And I think it all makes sense in that way, to only believe, a very narrow directive that he gives us in all things that we do. So I'll end in prayer. Dear God, thank you for waking us up in our right mind, giving us the opportunity to do that is your will. Thank you for all of these people of God that are here in this church. Thank you for those that want to be here. Thank you for the spirit that's in this place right now. Thank you for those that are connected with us online and through the other media mediums, for you to be there with them in their home, in their car, that you're there with us in all ways. You're omnipresent everywhere at all times. We thank you for that presence. We thank you for every opportunity that you give us every day to do your will, to learn your will for our lives, and then the resources you put in our path to do those things and to carry out your vision. Thank you again for our church leadership, our bishop, our first lady, for convening us in this way, giving couples and individuals an opportunity to explore the Bible at a deeper level through Bible study, and then present their perspective to share all of our gifts and all of our backgrounds, education, so we can learn that, and that can all be moved towards your goal in the body of God. Thank you for this place, for this facility, for us to be able to fellowship in this way. We thank God for the resources that we have on a day-to-day basis. We ask this in all prayers in your son's name. Amen. So we have a few last updates and announcements, but first and foremost, this is a great time for you to pray and consider your giving. We would love for you to give today and always. We have our 4 ways to give. It's probably up on your screen at this point. You can give online at acfchurch.org. That's acfchurch.org. Text the word give to 833-832-0055. That's 833-832-0055. Mail it here to Agape Christian Fellowship Church, P.O. Box 721853, Houston, Texas 77272. And the way that everyone mentions, we love it the most in person here at our church on 8400 Boone Road here in Houston, Texas. We also have a prayer line. Please take advantage of the prayer line. We are the beneficiaries of our prayer warriors. We are the proof from the pudding. We've been prayed for. We've been intervened on our behalf. And we thank the prayer warriors for that. All of those that give their time and that give their connection to God in the service of others. It's just very, very beneficial. So take advantage. Again, that's 346-330-2330. You would not regret it.
All right. So we coming to a close, but we want to share some of the upcoming events for the month. So our food services ministry, headed by Deacon Demoris Flanagan, is taking appointments for those in need of food. Those in need can make appointments to come Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 3:30 by calling the church, and the number is 281 983-0055, and please spread the word, okay? So if you are in need of food, nourish the body, please give us a call, and it's headed by Deacon Demoris Flanagan. Call and get those appointments in so we can get you some food. 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Prom is prom season, so prom 2025. We're in four, but we're preparing for 2025. Our Designing Women Ministry is asking for your support as we help high school students in need for prom 2025. Yes. Donations can be made online by selecting the prom category, and students needing assistance will be required to apply by March 31st, 2025. Okay, so you got plenty of time. Okay, application forms will be available soon. A prom is such a fun time, so keep that in mind. March 31st, 2025. New member classes. So classes for our new members will be as follows. Part 1, Thursdays of May 2nd, which is tomorrow, May 9th, May 16th. Part 2, Monday, May 20th, and Thursday, May 23rd and the 30th. All classes will be on Zoom and will begin at 7 p.m. Please see Dr. Linda Jolly Evans for further details. So that's for our new member classes. Sunday, May 5th, which is Cinco de Mayo, is the seniors breakfast at 8:30 a.m. Good food and good fellowship. And the men's prayer is at 6 p.m. on Zoom. So that is Sunday, May 5th. Minister's class is Monday, May 6th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. And youth Bible study is Tuesday, May 7th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Our Designing Women, mark your calendars, May Fellowship Tea Party is Saturday, May 11th at 11 a.m. at the Agape. Guest speaker Rochelle Dixon. Please sign up in the lobby and come dressed for the tea party. The retreat, October 10th through the 13th. The balance is due Wednesday, July 31st, so we have some time. Media training, Saturday, May 18th at 9 a.m. at the Agape. If you have a desire to serve in media ministry, sounds, video, all that good, cool stuff, join the team and attend these training sessions. See Pastors Benjamin and Kayla Thompson for further details.
Let me get this one. Men of distinction. Got to represent for the fellas. Men of distinction, barbecue fellowship. Since we had so much energy for the ladies, we gotta balance this out. Saturday, June the 1st, 1 p.m. Please start making your donations towards the cost. If you're giving online, select the men's ministry category. Thank you for making our fellowship a success. And I'll speak to that. I was able to make the one that we had at Brother Andre's house. We played dominoes, we ate good, and we had a good time. We watched, I guess it was baseball season. We watched some baseball. It was great fellowship. And like I talked about while we were ministering, relationships with men is very important to me, elders especially, so I can glean life experiences and that insight from my brothers. So definitely looking forward to our next Men of Distinction Barbecue Fellowship. AYC, whoop whoop. Agape Youth Changers, we got to represent for the first annual Block Blast. A lot of hard work is going into this. Thank you, Bishop and First Lady, for allocating resources for us to do this. This is a great and phenomenal opportunity for us to invite our church family and our community to our facility and give them what they need. So on Saturday, August the 10th, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., we have food, games, health fair, school supply giveaway, school uniforms, DJ, face painting, and much more. Wow, it's much more? More than that? That's a lot. Please help make the Block Blast a success by donating to the youth ministry. You can give online by selecting the youth ministry category. Care packages for college students, Sunday, August the 11th, distribution and prayer. Please consider donating funds or products such as hygiene, school supply, gift cards, etc. for college students. You can give online by selecting the youth ministry category. See Pastors Lonnie and Tracy Reed for further details. Be sure to tune in to our Sunday worship in person and virtual, 9 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube only. And then also Wednesday in person and virtual Bible study, 7 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube as well. And then Reels. Be sure to watch Reels from our services on Facebook and Instagram. Happy birthday. Give me some. To my beautiful wife on May 3rd. Her birthday is Friday. We're going to have a good time, wonderful time, May 3rd. That's the only birthday we have for this week. Thank you for praying for Bishop Ricky and Pastor Deborah White and family, as well as for our more mature members, as well as those gaining victory over physical challenges. All others who need physical, mental, and emotional healing, those who are not yet saved, those who loved ones have transitioned to be with the Lord, Corin Gay and family regarding his father. Please keep them in your prayers. Families affected by the natural disasters and violence, the people of Israel and Ukraine due to the wars, our nation, government, president, vice president, Congress, Supreme Court justices, peace, officers, schools, children, teachers, all of the school staff in all of the school districts, all of our first responders, pastors, and all others suffering from stress-related experiences. Lord, make us one, coronavirus die. And again, Psalm 91:10, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. We really, again, thank you guys for the opportunity. Bishop, thank you so much. First Lady, thank you so much. All of our church leadership, we really do appreciate this opportunity, and we want to continue to keep it going. So when we're needed, please keep us on the calendar, and God will continue to move us forward.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You
y'all
guys
so
have a great
much.
night from Agape Christian Fellowship Church. We'll see you next week.
Thank y'all.